All right, hello everybody. So I am back earlier than I expected to be, but I'm back with another interview of my first, well, yeah, my only interview for today, and I'm thankful my guest was able to make time, sort of on like very kind of short, late notice. So to my guest, welcome to the channel. We are currently live right now. Everyone watching at home, I don't have to remind you, but I will. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified anytime I go live or post a new video, anything like that. So that being said, let's jump right into our latest interview. As customary on this channel, I don't know if you're familiar with the channel or not, but I always like for interviews, I always like letting my guests introduce themselves. So why don't you introduce yourself very briefly for everyone watching at home right now?
Yeah, my name is Chris Ip. I am based out of Toronto, Canada at the moment. Well, I've been here for a while. I'm originally from Lubbock, Texas. Um, Hopefully, I'll move back to the U.S. within the year. But yeah, my thing is acting. I do, auditions for principal auditions for TV shows, movies, et cetera, et cetera. And I work. I also do background acting on. Right now, currently, I'm working on Star Trek: Strange New Worlds season two. Doing background performing, and I think it's going to be on Paramount Plus platform. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Okay, cool. Wow, awesome, man. Well, yeah, that sounds like like you're doing it, like you're hustling. That's awesome. And of course, always on this channel we do love to support, actors of color such as yourself. You know what I mean? Just putting it bluntly. And as definitely as a content creator, I'm not a talent or actor or anything like that, but as a content creator, Asian American male myself, it's very empowering to always, what I mean, just like empower other, Asian people on screen, right? Especially Asian
Hmm.
men. 'Cause I feel like Asian men, when it comes to like Asian males in the media, males, not females, like we sort of get the short shaft.
Right.
Um, like there has been some sort of progress. I guess you could argue within the past few years or so, but it's very moving very very slowly, and kind of not much is really happening there. So, which
Hmm.
is unfortunate. But I mean, me saying that, I'm basically just like an outsider. I don't actually, I don't, let's say, work in the film industry, at least for the time being right now, but you do. And so
Hmm.
from just curious, from your perspective, what I mean, like how are things progressing, in that sort of context? Like, do you feel like things are changing? Are they getting better? You know what I mean? Are more roles going to actors of color such as yourself? Is it easier to find work, book gigs, get auditions, all that stuff?
It's there's a lot of nuances involved, so it's kind of complex to explain. But I would say generally, I feel like I mean, I think Asian men in the film industry are on the come up, especially after Simu Liu doing Shang Chi and Kim's Convenience before that and all that. I think what's the guy's name that does he created Bauhaus and he directed that movie with the dude with the basketball, Asian dude playing basketball, black girlfriend. I forget his name, Eddie Huang or whatever. Um, I mean, I think Asian men are on the come up, but it's not. It's like you said, it has been moving really slow. I mean, I think the first person that I can recall doing Asian American film and TV is like Bruce Lee, like, and that was like in the '70s. And since him, there hasn't really been any Asian American doing on the American side of things doing movies. I mean, Asia has its own film industry, so it's never an issue there because it's a homogenous, society and a homogenous industry. Everybody's Asian anyway. But as far as in America, it is moving really slow. But I feel like only a select few Asian male actors get the opportunities to do big projects like Simu and Henry Golding and Crazy Rich Asians. But and I feel like a lot of the American film industry, when it comes down to selecting Asian male actors, I personally think they favor Eurasian looking males that are like half white and half Asian because they kind of look more exotic. So it's kind of like a bridge. It's kind of like a safe zone to, to present the Asian male to the public. Like, he's half white, so it's kind of like safe. And, he's attractive and whatever, deemed attractive anyway. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of stereotypes from from the jump, like from way back since like I mean, and how were Asian males depicted in the film industry? Like say Breakfast at Tiffany's with I think it was Mickey Rooney's character where he played like a Japanese neighbor to Audrey Hepburn,
Mhm.
and the buck teeth, the yellow face, the slanted eyes, taped to the sides and stuff, and all that stuff. And in the industry, we've always been depicted as like the corner store owner, Mr. Lee, Mr. Kim, whatever. The always harmless and asexual. You know, I think even in Romeo's Must Die with Jet Li and Aaliyah, they cut out like a kissing scene and he gets a hug at the end.
Yeah, there's
Like yay,
nothing. There's nothing.
yeah, so it and it's different but also like I feel like with Asian males, there's a huge difference between the vibe between an Asian American male versus like an Asian male from Asia. It's very different. And not a lot of Asian American males can do flips and kicks like Jackie Chan or Jet Li or stuff like that. So, but I do, yeah. I mean, I think they're looking more in our direction. Since the Simu the Henry Goldings, and Crazy Rich Asians, and all that stuff, I think it's starting to we're starting to get the scope. Like the scope is, or the spotlight's starting to be shined on us. But personally, for me, it hasn't been easy. I haven't gotten a lot of auditions. The last job I had with a speaking role was on Heroes Reborn on NBC, and I had like a few lines in it for one episode. Since then, I haven't had any like huge roles on any big shows or anything like that. So I've kind of actually put the whole principal acting thing on the back burner for now. I haven't even shopped for new representation at the moment, but I should, because I'm a dual citizen, so it kind of helps me out. It works towards my advantage. It's long-winded, but I hope that answers your question.
No, you know what, dude? Absolutely, and I'm glad I actually get to talk to professionals such as yourself, because we hear about this all the time. You know what I mean? Just you know what I mean? Like I currently work in news.
Mm-hmm.
Like working behind the scenes on news and stuff and writing news. But in terms of film and TV, that's sort of always been my first love. And so, to hear that is both enlightening and sort of kind of disheartening as at the same time. So, man, like you said, you know what I mean? Like our prayers are with you, dude. We just letting you know, everyone here at the channel has your back. You know what I mean? I have your back.
Appreciate it.
I know we just met, but man, like I totally understand your struggle. You know what I mean? And you seem like a good dude. So I hope, I hope that things do start picking up for you and all that stuff. So, but yeah, no, man, we totally appreciate your honesty and everything like that. I think, I mean, the reason I asked that is because, like I said, I work in news. And so basically, like it goes out saying, I work at a TV station.
Mm-hmm.
And, I work at an ABC affiliate, all that stuff. So every night when I go to work, I always see on TV shows that showcase Asian women. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
Asian American women, whatever. And they're and to say that things are going in their favor would sort of be a huge understatement. I feel like there's a lot more Asian women getting work now. Of all different ages, right? Like sort of
Mm-hmm.
beating out white women in that regard too. Like there's just Asian women are getting more and more popularity, more traction in Hollywood, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's unavoidable. Whether or not you want to be positive or negative about it, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
honest and say, you know what, there is a huge disparity between Asian female representation, Asian male representation. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's sort of taboo. I've been shot down. I complain about this a lot on Facebook. I like pointing out the truth, right? I like pointing out the huge gaps and disparities, especially when it comes to representation in Hollywood. Like
Mm-hmm.
dating is one thing, which we'll definitely get to here, but
Yeah.
in terms of like work and representation, there's a huge disparity there as well. And a lot of people will say, oh, that's progress and progress. I would actually kind of like to beg to differ on that. I do
Mm-hmm.
want to support our Asian, quote unquote, our Asian women, right, in the media and all that stuff. I do think representation does matter, and
Mm-hmm.
and I would say that a part of me is happy that they are getting work, but the other hand, what about us? You know what I mean? What about the Asian men? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I have something to say that actually it's kind of interesting that I mean it's very true what you're saying. I definitely see it the same way. And there was this MTV. segment by Francesca Chescali, or I don't remember her name, and she does these like educational segments on, and it's called like MTV Decoded. Y'all can look it up on YouTube. Just type in like MTV Decoded Asian women versus Asian male sexuality or something like that. And she breaks down this whole history of why that is, and why Asian women are looked at as, you know, they're hypersexualized and looked at as exotic and all this stuff. And it has stuff to do with American soldiers back in like World War II, and like when they were, when they were over there in Vietnam or Korea, like all the wars and stuff, and prostitution, and like how like the countries in Asia, whether it's Vietnam, Korea, they would like sell their own women to these American soldiers, or turn them like into hookers so they can make money, and like all this stuff going on. So, and then like on the other hand of things, with for Asian male, we get shit on, and all this stuff. And there was actually propaganda making us look bad, and like, drawings like satire, like comic books and or comic strips of like the Asian male with the buck teeth and like the really slitted eyes, and like the old kung fu haircut where they're like shaved half balls here and they got that one
Yeah.
braid and all that stuff. And but yeah, look it up. You'll kind of see how that happened, or why that became the history, and why it's become so prevalent now, even to this modern day, where Asian men aren't really getting the spotlight on, like, or looked at as, sexual or attractive, whereas Asian women are, especially to white men. Right. But yeah, you should definitely check it out. I agree with you though. Even, I mean, Lucy Liu's been around for a while. Like, people actually know there are actually Asian American actresses that are actually household names, as opposed to, Asian men. It's only starting for us now, So,
Yeah.
and I hope to one day be part of that bandwagon, but we'll see.
No, dude, no one, man. Yeah, and like I said, I hope like I said before, I know that maybe the past few years have probably maybe been a little bit slower. Since me personally, I do know when Heroes Reborn came out because I'm a huge Heroes fan. So I do know how long ago that was.
Yeah,
But I just want to again reassure you, man. Like just hang in there. You know what I mean? I know it's tough. I
I
know
appreciate it.
it's easier said than done, and it's easier saying that than hearing that. But I just want to let you know what I mean, that we all got your back. Everyone watching this channel, we all got your back, man. You know what I mean? What you're doing is important. It's your passion. It's it's your life's passion, and don't give up. You know what I mean? Don't give up. So, but yeah, man. That being said, I do agree. And I don't want to go
Hmm.
off on a negative tangent here, and what I mean, put anyone on blast, but it is kind of, even as me as just a spectator, just watching at home or watching at work, when I see it on TV inevitably, there's like just I don't know all their names because there's so many of them now, but you know what I mean. It's all these Asian women, that are, and a lot of them are kind of like you said, very sexualized, right? Like they're depicted as like the object, the love interest, but we all know it's basically it's just they're just objectifying and what I mean, fetishizing them. They're putting them on a
Yeah.
pedestal. That's what I'm trying to say. And
Right. Yeah.
and there's nothing new, and unfortunately, it's nothing surprising. You know what I mean? And it's just like you said, it's mostly white men, but it's also like just pretty much any any straight male ever that does that. Pretty much, with the exception maybe of like Asian men, because we kind of I don't really can think Asian men necessarily do that to Asian women. They don't objectify them like that.
Hmm.
But I feel like especially, how do I say this? I think that might be a huge issue here, and I say issue because I'm being honest. It is an issue. I feel like it's an issue here and in Canada. But when you go overseas and maybe even parts of Europe, you know what I mean, or like anywhere else in the world, it's not necessarily such a huge issue like it is here. you know
Hmm.
and I feel like that's kind of funny because when you talk to other actors of color, maybe even like actors who are black or Hispanic, they kind of say the same thing in comparison to the issues that they face. Like, it just seems like this kind of issue that we're talking about right now is really only an issue here. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And
Hmm.
that's just, I mean, again, like, the US is completely fucked. I'm sorry for my language, but it's completely effed when it comes to this sort of thing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? We are so behind on, you know what I mean, on just everything, representation, and Hollywood is now sort of just now sort of catching up.
Right.
Um, Although again, it's gonna they'll let's be honest here, they're never gonna catch up. It's never gonna.
Hmm.
It's not.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be skeptical and say that, but I feel like if you leave the power into the hands of, the powers that be in the industry, which is mostly white Jewish older males, right? Then yeah, that
Yeah.
might be the case. But I think what might help is if creators of Asian descent get together and build a community where they can create projects and stuff like that. I mean, black people in the US have done it. I mean, they have BET, and there's everybody knows black actors like household names. They have a, and it's fucking amazing. It's great that they have that. I think Asian people need to do the same thing and support each other as well, create a community within the film industry and create their own projects and stuff like that. Eventually, they're going to be heard and it's going to gain traction and it's going to be blown up on the big screen. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is, but we can't allow ourselves to just be dependent on the powers that be to make it happen. Like just wait, you know, like, um, asking for another bowl of porridge, like we can't wait.
Right.
That's
No,
what I think.
absolutely. And I
Yeah.
just had a quick question, and
Yeah.
this will be the last question. Unfortunately, I do want to talk about this more, but we have to move
Sure.
on to the next topic. But before I do move on, I want to ask you this, like, and this sort of kind of parlays into, kind of transitions into my next topic, which is dating and romance, all this stuff. I feel like
Mhm.
when it comes to dating and all this stuff, too, as well, just in general, I feel like Asian men, or maybe it's just the Asian male problem, because Asian women don't seem to have a problem with really anything, but Asian men, it seems like they are not as outspoken as they should be, right? Like it seems
Mhm.
like there are a select few, right, who, for quote unquote, might be kind of quote unquote woke or whatever, right? Or, what I mean,
Mhm.
like aware of certain things and they're not afraid to speak up. But in general, it just seems like, like they're more quiet. And I was just wondering, like, why do you think that is? Do you agree with me? Do you sort of understand what I'm saying? And why do
Oh
you think?
yeah, totally. Totally. 100% I agree with that cuz I kind of relate to it in a lot of ways. I think I'm kind of an outlier in a way because, like, if you look at my dating history, it's kind of like, I don't know, it probably wouldn't be aligned with that stereotypical Asian male. However, I do understand where that comes from because I myself obviously have Asian parents and, like, you know, dealing with the conditioning and the traditional ways and how we're supposed to behave at home and um, parents not being open about talking about the topics of sexuality and anything of the like. It's not like Asian men were taught by their fathers to be like, so let me put you on some game. This is how you're supposed to talk to women, and we don't get that, right? And if anything, it's the whole filial piety thing, and our fathers were men of the house, and if we even expressed ourselves or uttered a single opinion, we're considered like we're talking back to our parents, and so we're meant to be seen, not to be heard. So that causes like trauma. And as adults, we're always going to have this like self perception that we're not worthy to speak up. We're not, um, you know, allowed to, or we don't give ourselves permission to express ourselves. So, like, say, how it would look in the workplace, for example, like, say, in the corporate workplace, 9 to 5 office, the manager or the boss is like giving you shit as an Asian male and you don't like it, but you're just gonna like shut up and put up with it, take it up the ass and keep working and just to gain validation or get that promotion or whatever it is, as opposed to putting your foot down and be like, you know what, this ain't for me. Fuck you, I'm out. Peace, right? It comes from a lot of the dynamics in the family household growing up with parents, and also the culture too. It's not an open culture. It's very conservative. We don't talk about sexuality. We're not taught about sexuality. We're not told or taught how to talk to women or seduce women or be sexual or be attractive males. All we're taught is how to provide, because that's like the number one important thing. Provide and honor your parents, honor your family. That's what you're put here for. You have dreams and passions. What the fuck are those? Right? So I think a lot of it comes from that, and that's why a lot of Asian men, when it comes down to like dating and women, especially women outside of their own culture or ethnicity, they're probably a little more, not a little, but a lot more timid. They don't give themselves permission to speak up or even make an approach.
No, dude, 100%. And this is like by far probably the most enlightening interview that I've done on this channel in a very long time. So I want to
Oh,
thank
thanks,
you
man. I appreciate
again.
it.
Yeah, I want to thank you again. We unfortunately we don't have that much time left, but I want to thank you again just in advance for making the time. I feel like
Yeah,
I
anytime,
feel like
man.
I feel like this is very important for any Asian guy to watch because this is you know if you guys are looking for something woke, this is woke as fuck. So every Asian guy needs to hear this, whether you're in the industry or not. If you're Asian guy, you need to watch this interview, and also like, comment, subscribe, please. But anyway, that being said, so yeah, so my next question will be on the topic of dating and romance, all that stuff. By the way, I
Mhm.
completely agree with you. Our Asian parents do not know how to coach their Asian sons, you know what I mean, or groom them to talk to women. For I
Right,
feel like when it comes to their daughters, it's like, oh, if you marry up, that's awesome. Marry up, you know what I mean?
right.
Which
It's called
basically,
hypergamy.
let's just say it for what it is. Marry a white person. Marry a
Yeah,
white. Marry a
yeah.
rich white guy. He's white, awesome. He's money and he's white, even better. That's
Hmm.
basically it. My
Hmm.
parents, my parents, are awesome. So they didn't teach me and my sister, that sort of stuff. But in general, from what I've heard, and from other family members too, relatives, they all do that. And I don't want to shy away from that. Okay, I don't want to shy because that's the ugly truth. That is the
Hmm.
ugly fucking truth, and that's why
Hmm.
so many Asian men in the West, especially, I want to say because in the East, I feel like everyone, it's not really a problem there, but like here, it's a problem, and it's because of
Hmm.
that. So if you're an Asian parent, please teach your kid how. Please, and if you're Asian parent, if you have boys, little boys, whatever, teach them how to talk to women. At least try. You know. Um,
That's if they even know how to do that in the first place. But
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, I mean, exactly, exactly. But I feel like a little effort goes a long way. So please do that. You'll be saving them a lot of stress and heartache. So that being said, like I said, we only have a few minutes left here. But so again, this being the AMBW channel, obviously, first of all, are you aware of what AMBW stands for?
Yeah, Asian
Okay.
man, black woman.
Right. And so this being the first time I've talked to you, I think, or at least face to face, quote unquote, is that I don't know anything about your dating history and all that stuff.
Okay.
But why don't you tell us a little bit about that? You know what I mean? And especially, I think a lot of women are curious to know, especially the women watching this. A lot of them are actually genuinely interested in talking and dating Asian men, but they don't know really, quote unquote, how to start or where to find them. So why don't you share us
Hmm.
a little bit about your experience and insight?
Sure. So if you look at my dating history, majority of the women that I've been with actually have been black women, and so it's mostly black women, but overall, I've dated a lot of Asian women and black women, but majority of women I've been with have been black women, whether it's been um, a relationship, like an exclusive relationship, or just like friends with benefits or a casual, situation. I find that a lot of the time, Asian men and black women, it's ironic because I remember back in high school or my early 20s or something like that. I don't know, I was pretty young, where I remember saying one day, like, it's gonna be this like thing. You know how you always see like white men with Asian women, like they're like two peas in a pod, like it's always like peas and carrots. Just always a Asian woman with a white man. I was like, that's gonna happen with black women and Asian men. Why? Because Asian men and black women are the two most shitted on demographic when it comes to dating because we both have really bad stereotypes. Like black women, the attitude, the loudness, the being rude, the hyper masculinized woman that doesn't want to submit or doesn't take no shit kind of thing. Asian men, small dicks, uh, asexual, doesn't know how to please a woman, weak, all that stuff, and it's all perpetuated by a lot of the media and film and TV industry. I swear it's like a bug that white people planted in the media so that people. And there was a study with online dating, I think way back in the day, where they said the top desirable females are on the top is Asian women, and then it's like white women, and then for men it's like white men and then black men or whatever, and way at the bottom is like Asian as in like East Asian men, also South Asian men like Indian and all that stuff, and then like black women as well. So I find that we have that commonality, and which kind of brings us closer together because we can relate to being the most disenfranchised demographic when it comes to the dating pool. Um, so back to my dating history, yeah, most of the women I've been with have been black. Um, whether they're from here in Canada and Toronto or in the U.S. Um, the demographic here in Toronto, I think, is the top most diverse, um, culturally diverse cities in North America or even in the world. So there's tons of Asian men here, or Asian people. There's tons of Black people here, but they're not American Black. They're like Caribbean or African, right? So they're Jamaican, from Trinidad and Tobago, whatever. The lineage is different. Um, yeah, like okay, and back to your question about how Black women can approach Asian men. First of all, I don't know how it is overall in the U.S. I only know, like, me being American as well. I've only been to major cities like New York, LA, Houston, Dallas, and whatever. And there's plenty of Asian people in the bigger cities, in the metropolis cities in the US. I don't know how it is in smaller towns or whatever. So I don't know exactly how, Black women can find these Asian men. But I know in major cities, you'll find everyone: Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, whatever. They're all over, right? And the way to approach, I would say, just be genuine. Like, don't be too eager, but don't play any games. Just be genuine. Just say hi and, like, express your interest and see how they respond. Um, and I remember seeing some questions on some of these social groups, these AMBW social groups, or or I've been to interviews before where they would ask me questions like very general, like, do Asian men like Black women? And I'm like, some do, some don't, right? It's like we can't really generalize the whole demographic as with one, like they have like a hive mind, right? So me personally, I love Black women. I think Black women are beautiful, but that's also a general statement. I might be attracted to some Black women, and some other Black women I might not be. It depends on the individual at the end of the day. So really just take care of yourself, make sure you're set up right, your hygiene's on point, your style's on point, and most importantly, your character and your morals and all that stuff's on point, and just approach with being you, your best self, right? Being genuine. That's my tip anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like again, like this is, I feel like I've done so many interviews. I don't know how many interviews I've done now, but we're coming up on like 1 year for the anniversary, and in that time I have interviewed a lot of people. I want to say again, to everyone watching at home, listen to this man and what he is saying. Whether you're a man or woman, listen to his advice, because he's dropped a lot of gems during this interview. I feel like this is the interview that a lot of people have been waiting for. Whether you're an actor, whether you're black or Asian or whatever. You don't even have to be, any of those. Just a person who wants to hear some pearls of truth. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm basically, I'm gonna say this. I'm tired of being the only Asian guy out there that like is okay with just saying the truth, right? Because again, I feel like a lot, especially Asian guys, like we've been talking about this too. They're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to say
Mm-hmm.
stuff like this because they don't want to
Yeah.
come across as negative, or they don't want to rock the boat, or anything like that. You know what I mean? So again, to this is probably the very best interview I've done in a long time. And so thank you very much for that. I only have one more question.
Yeah,
Um,
go ahead. I got time.
okay, cool, awesome. So, and this is actually for all the women watching. So again, I don't know anything about you, sir. You seem like a good dude, but this for all the ladies watching. All right, what is your relationship status right now?
I'm single and prioritizing my health and finding a way to make passive income and money right now. I don't even think I have the emotional capacity to be in a relationship with anyone. I mean, unless somehow something happens and I just fall into one, like I trip and fall into one and be like, oh my God, I love this girl. But other than that, I'm not even trying to, like, get into anything emotional because I just want to be selfish with my time and my energy right now.
Oh, hey
Um,
man, absolutely, dude. I just want to say really quickly, I'm the
yeah.
same way. I'm of the like mind. In fact, that's sort of how I met quote unquote love of my life. Like way back when 2011, I
Hmm.
was just a kid just fresh out of college. I moved back to Cali, and I met this. gorgeous ass woman who I've talked about many times on this channel. But
Mhm.
she's like mixed, and unfortunately, it's gonna disappoint a lot of people. But she wasn't black; she was Latina, and she was actually an actress, and
Mhm.
you know, single mom, all that stuff, quote unquote. Just like I had this, like I was not looking for anything, but I had sort of this, like I don't know if you can relate, but I sometimes from time to time I get like this kind of this feeling, right? This I don't know what it is, but like this intuition, like something good is gonna happen for me, right?
Mhm.
Just like how might you might anticipate something bad might happen. It's just something there. It's like intuition. I don't know. It's like a sixth sense or something. But I had
Mhm.
that feeling, and sure enough, I met her, and we were doing this shitty short film that I did long time ago. Um,
Mhm.
we went out twice. Long story short, I called her a horrible fucking name that nobody should ever call, especially a single mom. Um, but basically, yeah, love my life. But I'm like you, man. I met that girl through doing absolutely nothing. It just happened
Mhm.
naturally. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I feel like that's sort of, I think that's a very important. I'm going to close out this interview by saying this to everyone at home. That's a very key component to meeting someone, is not even really trying. I feel like when you let things happen, you know what I mean? Whether you believe in a higher, being or God or religion, whatever, or not, agnostic. I feel like if you just sort of give yourself to sort of just quote unquote fate, or you let things happen on their own, that's how you meet the best people. You know what I mean? I feel like by trying to intervene and quote unquote trying to meet people on your own, that sort of just fucks it up. That makes it worse. You know what I mean? So
It's not that that fucks it up. It's the attachment to the outcome that fucks it up. So it's like when you're out there as an individual and you find like what we're talking about, finding something naturally that happens, it's because the universe, the world is a reflection of who you're being. So if you are somebody that's like loving yourself and you're taking care of yourself, and yeah, you can go out there and date and look for somebody, but you're not attached to the outcome. You're like, let's just see what's out there. I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I'm not trying to be somebody that I'm not. You end up going on these dates, and eventually somebody's going to match your energy, and you're just going to like find somebody, and it just that's how it naturally happens, whether you're looking or not. But whether if you are looking and you're attached to the outcome, like, oh, it has to be this way or it has to show up this way and like whatever, then now you're putting too much pressure on it. It's like when you're gripping, some sand, right? You go to the beach, you grab sand. If you cup a bunch of sand in your hand, you just cup it and let it sit there. It stays in one place as one whole. You squeeze that stuff, the sand will start trickling between your fingers and your knuckles, through the cracks. And then now your palm's empty, right? So that's how I think people need to approach the whole dating situation.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, hey, man, dude, I just want to say, Chris, bro, you're a brother, man. You're a brother. You know what I
Appreciate
mean?
it.
You're our brother, man, and we got your back. I got your back. You know what I mean? I don't like, I'm sure. Hope this video gets a lot of views. Everyone, watch this video. Watch this video. Listen to what this guy is saying, and like the video, right? So more people can see it, because he dropped some fucking pearls of truth, today, tonight, wherever you are. Um, it's just it's been an honor, man. Genuinely, I don't think I've ever said, yeah. Oh, actually, maybe one time. But it's been an honor talking to you, sir.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
mean,
You were,
anybody could follow me on Instagram. My handle is Samurai Fly, all one word, all lowercase, simple.
absolutely. Follow this
Yeah.
guy and support this guy, because we need for him to succeed. We need, and I have no doubt that you will, sir. I have no doubt that if you stay the course, right, you're persistent enough, and you seem like I said, you're a woke ass motherfucker.
Thank you.
Like, really, I'm sorry, I'm not calling you, bad name, but I am using that
I
because
get it. I get it.
we're all enthusiastic about this stuff, man. We want people like you to succeed. So
I appreciate it,
everyone,
man.
go out there, subscribe to this man's socials. Chris, you are always welcome back on this channel. I'm sure you're a very busy
Yeah.
person. You are
Hit me up
definitely welcome back
anytime.
there.
Yeah.
And everyone watching at home, like, comment, subscribe. Chris, man, hopefully we will talk soon. But thank you again for donating your time. This is probably the best interview I've done in a very long time.
I really
Um,
appreciate it. Yeah.
I genuinely mean that, sir. We got your back. Everyone watching at
Cool.
home, see ya. Peace out. Chris, have a good night, everyone. Peace.
Take care.